Make a life for myself.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all over the world, my name is Brandon. You are here, the Rags Riches Show, and as always, you have absolutely nothing better to do. That's why you're hanging out here. I don't know why you're hanging out here. Let us check chat BWG, Lima Foxtrot Golf. Let's freaking go. Just bought more PLS today. Outstanding. Facing reality. Boom! What's up, dude? BWG. We got the stars. We got the Texan stars. The Lone Star State. Texan in the house. Representing AP. PulseChain on the move. Rumor has it RH called the top on the day. Facing reality. Logan's Run. What the hell's going on here? Crypto Pez. Rags going hard on the clickbait. Or it's a fact. There's a lot of green candles around across the altcoin market today. Let's hear Brandon's analysis. Come on. You guys know I don't clickbait you. What are you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Willis? Red Squirrel, oi, oi. Gunner Boat, glad to catch you live. Nice to have you in chat here. PulseChain trainer, watching Rags while on a boat in the ocean. What could be better? Excavator, getting lit or getting it? Okay, my bad. K Hudson, someone said there was a free alpha here. Is it true? Could it be true? David Lee, what is good in the David Lee hood? We're going to change this to live chat here. All right, keep scrolling down here. Mobius, only the beta is free. I've called a live. Let's go, fam. Mr. Rafferty, it's almost bedtime for him. He goes to sleep at 6:30 p.m. every single night. I absolutely don't. Mudhog. What's up, Mudhog? Texan Tailgate, let's go. Francis Powell, hello. All right, Katie. All right, guys, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to kind of get into this. We've got a lot to go over. And, you know, somebody says, is this clickbait? Everything's clickbait. But I'll try not to hype it up. I'm going to try to bring the facts. I'm going to try to show you. I'm going to show my work here. Let you guys know what's happening. All right, first and foremost, you guys notice I've got dollarriot.com here. This is my free newsletter, all right? So we've got, what, about a week and a half. We've got about 4 newsletters out now. You can share this out with folks. I'm going to be coming up with some cool referral programs. You can just get free stuff. It's a free newsletter and you get free stuff. That's pretty freaking easy. And for those of you, I've heard your calls, okay? I've heard your complaints. Rags, it's an hour long and it's too much. I can't watch the whole stream. I don't have time. Well, here you go. I created a newsletter for you. It's going to be the best damn newsletter in all of crypto in a short amount of time. So if you want to get on with it, go ahead and click that link. You can choose to subscribe or not. I probably recommend you don't. That's just how it goes here. All right, made a good investment today. PLS, PLSX, EHEX, and HEX. We're going to talk about all that stuff. Hey, Rags, long time since I caught you live. Crypto Ewok. Nate, what's up? Good stuff. All right, first and foremost here, we'll go to, we're going to share a screen here. All right, got some exciting information here. We have our new link tree for Texan. All right, so we've got our website, we've got Texan Shop, we've got Twitter, we've got Telegram, Texan Telegram, we've got our Crypto 101 class, absolutely free, by the way. You should give this to your friends and family. It's important. Instagram, we are on Instagram now. We've got Gitter, Texans on Gitter now. We've got TikTok, Texan on TikTok. Mission 22, tokens on chain. We have Texan and Ophir on Facebook. Okay, so that's for your grandmas and grandpas and Mr. Rafferty. All right. Mission 22 Discord as well. So we've got Discord on there. If you guys are curious what Mission 22 is, ask me how long you can stake with Texan and Ophir, and that's your answer. So big shout out to Quinn, Quinn hooking it up. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. I put the link in the description. All right, we're going to dive right into this because we got a lot to go over, and I'm not trying to make it incredibly boring and long, all right? So here we go. Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin on SEC crypto enforcement actions. The real competition is the centralized world. We've said this all along, guys. The centralized world wants a piece of this multi-trillion-dollar pie, and it will be multi-trillion-dollar. It will be a multi-trillion-dollar pie in the future. Now, I know the market cap has gone up past a trillion. I know that. Okay, don't forget. I'm saying they want a piece of this profit moving forward, and they want to control it. And Vitalik is pretty much echoing everything that we've said here. So let's kind of get into this. Vitalik, a co-founder of Ethereum, has opened up on his thoughts about recent crypto enforcement actions the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission is taking against exchanges and cryptocurrency projects. When asked about his thoughts on the issue by Matt Wong, co-founder of California-based crypto investment firm Paradigm, Buterin answered, "I feel bad that Solana and other projects are getting hit in this way. They don't deserve it. And if Ethereum ends up winning through all other blockchains getting kicked off exchanges, that's not an honorable way to win. And in the long term, probably isn't even a victory." It seems to me that Vitalik, I think he keeps it real for the most part. Furthermore, Buterin warned about the possible objectives behind these actions, stating that the real competition is not other chains. It's the rapidly expanding centralized world that is imposing itself on us as we speak. Thank you. He's the only one that I've heard say that. And that's exactly what this is, folks. They are using the SEC as the tool to be able to destroy their competition. All right, and I'm talking about centralized entities. I'm talking about the Charles Schwabs. I'm talking about the BlackRocks. I'm talking about all the big players. Okay, that's what's happening right now. So I wanted to point that out, just because I think it's a good point to make. It's coming from Vitalik. He sees it. He understands it. And I'd imagine that at this point he might be in bed with the wrong people, and it's really, really difficult to fight back. I guess I would say it's difficult to fight back, because once they're in your pockets and once you become a spokesperson, it gets kind of ugly, guys. And I kind of feel that way for him. I don't think he intended it to be this way. Let's go. All right, some bullish news. We're gonna get straight into why I think there is a bullish case to be made right now for crypto. And we're at the very, 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 very beginning. All right, I'm not talking about the market's going to rip and Bitcoin's going to do a 20x in the next 6 months. No, but I am pointing out that we're starting to get into those transition periods right now, if not already. All right, maybe we've seen the local low, or actually the market cycle low for Bitcoin. It's quite possible. So I'm going to give you guys some perspective about Bitcoin, what happens with Ethereum, what happens with altcoins, so you can kind of push through all the crap that you hear on Twitter from these dum-dums. There are massive seas of idiots swimming through Twitter. And I don't comment on 95 or 99% of what I see on Twitter. That's just absolute lunacy. But guys, you got to keep the perspective. You got to understand what happened before you in order to better understand what could happen in front of you. So here we go. Largest bank in Hong Kong, HSBC, launches Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF trading services for clients. I think that Americans make the mistake of thinking that crypto only exists in the US. Crypto exists in a big way all over the world, folks. Okay? Don't be dum-dums here, Americans. And this is bullish. The largest bank in Hong Kong is reportedly now allowing clients to trade BTC and Ethereum exchange-traded funds, ETFs. Crypto journalist Colin Wu reports that British multinational bank HSBC is now allowing BTC and ETFs, ETH ETF trading on the Hong Kong exchange. So this is good. This is a good thing, guys. Especially, you know, we would want to see some sort of ETF eventually for Ethereum. I don't think that many people are going to touch Ethereum right now because we have Gary Gensler in office. But for this to be offered overseas, this is bullish. And it kind of moves pushes the ball forward a little bit here, right? If people in other countries are offering these services, then there is a level of competition that could be had, all right? And there might be some pressure to move the ball forward on regulation or whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't agree with it, folks. But it could light a fire under people's asses here in the States to try to do something with Gensler or get something freaking done. And I was tuning into Crypto Banner. I don't tune into him often. And I actually watched a full show of his, listening to it, actually. And he made this point, and man, I couldn't agree with him more. And he made a tweet. He said something to the effect of, you know, BlackRock is more powerful than Gary Gensler. I totally agree with that, man. I totally agree with that. I think that BlackRock pulls all the levers. BlackRock is the queen on a chessboard full of pawns, and I think Gary Gensler is a pawn, and I think the SEC is a pawn, and I think the people that really move things are the banking institutions. And I had that feeling before when he blocked the ETF. What you're seeing now is, I think it was 7 institutions. They have now refiled their paperwork. 6 out of 7 have refiled their paperwork for that ETF. They're going to keep pushing. If BlackRock wants it, I think BlackRock's going to get it, folks. All right, so you know, that's one of the things I want to point out here. Ethereum ETF is a good thing. It's a good thing to push things forward. Push the ball down the road here. All right, I know a lot of you guys want to check out what's happening in the PulseChain ecosystem. Let's check out some charts here. Got important. You know, I'm going to give you an example. This is the lunacy that I see. All right, this is the lunacy that I see. This is the daily chart for PulseChain, or yeah, okay, Pulse die pair. So this is the daily chart. This looks like a project that just launched. This looks exactly like the video that I did, 6 or 7 or 8 months ago about what to expect when new projects launch. Okay, so what do people do though? These dum-dums, these knuckleheads, to fit their narrative, what are they going to do? They're going to go to the 15-minute chart. Let me show you. This is what you see on Twitter. All right, this is what you see. They zoom all the way into this one red candle. Okay, and then they doom you and they gloom you, and then you freak out and you start selling your bags, and they at Richard Hart and they say, "What are you doing? The price is falling off a cliff." All right, even worse, they'll zoom in into 5 minutes or whatever the case. Guys, let's bring you into some perspective here. This is the daily chart. If you are the type of person that wants to get involved when most people aren't involved, right now is the best time to do it. I don't know what else to freaking tell you. I don't know what else to tell you, folks. Okay? This is the biggest opportunity that most people get in their entire lifetimes in terms of being able to make some sort of cash. Okay? I'll just say it. Right now is the opportunity. The opportunity is not when the rest of retail apes in. All right, and it's already, you know, PulseChain or PulseX or Ethereum or Bitcoin has already run so many X's. No, it's right now. The unfortunate part of this is you can't save everybody, and those people, they'll get a nice little 2x, 3x, 4x on some of their trades, and they'll brag to their friends, but when they're getting 2x's and 3x's, you're getting 200x's and 300x's. All right, so this is you know, this is just a beautiful chart for somebody who wants to get involved. We know the community's backing it. We know we've got tons of builders that are supporting it. This is just a brand new nascent chain. Congratulations, guys. You are in the very bottom. And in my estimation, there's nothing to be worried about. I even hate talking about people. What's that quote about talking about people? Stupid people talk about people. Smart people talk about ideas. But guys, I got to just warn you, man. You just have to be careful on Twitter. So many freaking dum-dums and so many demagogues. All right, let's keep going here. And wait, how do I zoom out of this thing? I don't want it to go back. Do I have to go back? Oh, shucky ducky. All right, we'll go to multi-charts. So that was, that's Pulse. Let's go to PulseX. I will say this, folks. I'm pretty proud of myself here. Pretty proud of myself. I bought the absolute bottom this morning. All right, this is, it pumped a little bit. Richard Hart put out a tweet. But wouldn't it be cool if I was able to buy the absolute bottom through an incredible DCA strategy? I have DCA'd this entire time. Now, if I'm being completely honest, I'm going to try to answer this question honestly. My own question. How many times have I DCA'd since this thing launched? I did what I told you guys I would do. I put half as soon as I was able to buy. Put half in. It pumped. All right? And then what did I do? I took the other half and started DCAing down. I think I probably DCA'd about 5 to 7 times. I would say all the way down. Okay? 5 to 7 times all the way down. I'm lowering my average price every single time while it's falling. And why am I doing this? It's because I have experience. I know how these things work. So I'm very excited. Hopefully I caught the very bottom, other than, you know, launch price. But we kind of already got that because, you know, you sacrifice. So this is a beautiful thing. This is exactly what you're looking for. This is the type of structure that you're looking for. We're finding a bottom right where the whales start losing money. Okay, so they got those multipliers. So they got extra coins, more coins than you guys got. All right, so the point at which that they're not profitable anymore is much lower than yours. Most of the people here in this chat. So, good stuff. And I'm going to show you a chart later that gives you an idea of what a decentralized exchange on a brand new layer 1 can do. I'm going to use another chart to show you guys, to keep things in perspective. All right. All right. Let's check chat here. Again, if you guys haven't seen it, bottom left, dollarriot.com, new newsletter. I am pushing it hard, and that's because I want to have maximum exposure to this ecosystem. All right. I want everybody to know about PulseChain. I want everybody to know about all the awesome projects on PulseChain, including my own project. All right. Be very clear about it. I think that this is one way that we can scale out really good. All right, let's check chat. Can I interest you in buying Texan? Hard sell. Do you think Vitalik eats 3 meals a day? Bro, I don't know. He photosynthesizes. I don't know, dude. The guy freaks me out, man. He's got some issues. I mean, he's got some issues, dude. New here. Last time showed him my promotion folder. Okay, cool. Scrolling down. DJ Dougie Peach. What's up, Dougie Peach? I tried, but I had nothing better to do. Here we are then. Vibra Finance CEO. Hey. What's up, Vibra? All right, everybody's doing the thing. The CEO, Urban Productions, best place to get in now. At the floor. I mean, really, folks, doesn't this look like a floor? Doesn't this look like a floor? Or kind of close to it? Could it go back down to opening price? Yes. But this kind of like inverted parabola, this is the type of stuff that you want to see. You like to see these shapes. You have a big pump, you have a sell-off. Now, I said that it typically sells off. Once you start getting in about the 70 to 90% range, that's when you start thinking about reversals. And if you look at the actual buys and sells every day on some of these pairs, we're at about 77% off all-time high right now. And this is the golden zone, guys. 50 to 90% off is golden zone for accumulation. But if you look in buys and sells on PulseChain, especially PulseX, it has a larger margin of buys and sells than PulseChain. Buyers are outpacing sellers. Just so happens that the sellers have bigger bags right now. But there is absolute purchasing demand for PulseX. Now you're going to say, oh, why are you towing the line for PulseX? And, I've seen a lot of people hate on K4K lately. I'm going to tell you guys something. You can just shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. All right. K4K is not giving you bad advice. As much as all your little influencers want to convince you that K4K gave bad advice. Guys, this is how you play the crypto game. There's no way that anybody can make any assumption about how well or bad PulseX is going to do right now. After it just launched and there's a sell-off. Beyond all of the factual evidence that I could provide about what PulseX can do or any decentralized exchange can do. Guys, you got to be careful here, man. Be careful. Same with PulseChain. PulseChain's dead. And all these, and here's the Bible says something about being lukewarm, right? Lukewarm, you kind of just straddle the middle. You don't make up your mind one way or the other. And there's a lot of those folks out there. There's a lot of those folks that have a lot of influence. And they know that they can change their story and trick all their followers as soon as the story doesn't go their way. Because I'm here to tell you, and I'm sticking to this, and I made a video that talked about this in detail before PulseChain launched. I said, I'm going to be accumulating more of the thing that is cheaper relative to sacrifice price. Whatever that is, I'm going to be accumulating that. That's what I'm doing. All right. We had a nice little pump today. I don't care. If it doesn't look like anything on the daily chart, it doesn't matter to me. The floor is now. All right. And the floor could be for another 6 months. Your opportunity will leave the train station at some point. Gosh, man, you guys get me on these damn tangents. Not even worth it. All right, let's check. All right, so that was PulseX. Texan, let's check Texan here. Texan on, cool. So this pair was, so this pair was probably created, I'd say 5 or 6 days after PulseChain launched. But again, most of the liquidity in the Texan pair is wrapped up in Pulse. Right? So things will pump together. All right? They will dump together. So we've got that same parabola. We've got that same feel here. We've had people try to absolutely destroy price. There's demand for Texan as well. Texan is a cool project. If you don't know anything about it, go look in our link tree. Go look in our link tree, which is in the description of this video, and read up about how powerful this contract is compared to most everything else out there. I would venture to say that off the top of my head, I know about 3 or 4 protocols. 3 or 4 protocols that can shake a stick at Texan. Out of everything in crypto. Everything in crypto, folks. All right, I have to be very, very careful, and I have to be calculated about what I say about Texan. I can't put fancy lines and charts while I'm streaming about Texan. But guys, reach out to somebody, come to our Telegram and say, hey, teach me about Texan. It would be worth it. I think it would be worth it because, like I said, trains do leave stations, and that applies for everything in the PulseChain ecosystem. Everything. All right. I don't want to watch list. Cool. All right, let's keep going here. We're going to get into this. All right. I have used this chart here, and actually let me back out. I have used this quite often to try to get a feel for the health of the crypto market. This is lookintobitcoin.com, and this is addresses with greater than 1,000 BTC. If you guys are new here, I know some of you guys have heard this so many times, but I really want to address the folks that are new here. The yellow line here, and I'll try to zoom in a little bit. The yellow line is the amount of wallets that have greater than 1,000 BTC. This is orange, whatever, orange line. The black line is price. So you're going to notice an inverse relationship during bull markets. Why is that? Because the wallets that have greater than 1,000 BTC, those represent institutions. Those represent a very, 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 very small amount of retail. those represent nation states, okay? So 1,000 BTC. What you see is when price starts pumping, what do? They start scaling out of the market. So they're completely out of the market by the time retail gives them their exit liquidity. All right, I'll zoom into, I'll give you all the examples here. Let's go to 2014, okay? What happens here? Price starts going parabolic. These guys are getting out. By the time it's at the top, they've gotten out. All right, let's go again. Let's go to 2018. Same thing. Price starts going parabolic. They start getting out. And let me zoom out a little bit so give you a better example. All right, accumulate, dump. At the same time, prices pump. All right. So what have we been looking for here? I've been looking for a floor. With Bitcoin with regards to the amount of wallets that hold greater than 1,000 BTC. So let's zoom in here. We've been falling off the face of the map, really. Now, this is an anomaly. If you guys can see this, this is the biggest accumulation of wallets greater than 1,000 BTC in Bitcoin's history. But you got to understand why. It's because all the Russian oligarchs hedged and bought Bitcoin right before Russia invaded Ukraine. And I think that's, I'm 100% sure that's what that was. And we've streamed about that and talked about that in depth. But here we have a fall off until right around February, we found a floor. We had a little double bottom and it started pumping. All right, when I say pumping, I use that term loosely. But here's what I can tell you, folks. If you go back in history and you look at the time when it's found the floor, it doesn't stay there forever. It stayed there for about 8 to 12 months. And we are coming up on the 8-month range right now. There is an accumulation happening. Now, what's happening? Because these wallets aren't dumping as well, price is slowly creeping up. I think that there's a pressure that is being created right now. A lot of institutions are just like you folks. You think they're smarter than you? Well, they are smarter than you, especially DJ and Dougie Peach. But here's the thing. They feel FOMO just like you, right? They want to wait as long as possible. And if they have to sacrifice a 30 or 40% pump to try to find the bottom of the market, they will. So, in my opinion right now, price is starting to creep up. The sell-off of those Bitcoin wallets has stopped. It seems that they found a floor and it's slowly starting to creep back up. Now we're going to keep going into this. Everybody says that crypto's dead. Everybody says that crypto's going away. This is from Statista.com. Worldwide spending on blockchain solutions from 2017. All right. And this is in billions of dollars. So in 2017, 950 mil. 2018, 1.5 bill. 2019, 2.7 bill. 2020, 4.5 bill. 2021, 6.6 billion. And with what we have right now, all the data, all the statistics, all the information, we go from pretty much 80% increases every year, 50 to 80%. All right. And then what happens? You do a 350% increase, or about a 300% increase rather. We go from 6.6 billion to 19 billion. $19 billion is estimated to be spent by 2024. 19 billion. So you tell all those knuckleheads that you're seeing on YouTube and Twitter and all these people that are dooming and glooming you into oblivion to scare you into never showing up again. You just send them this chart and you say, if it's going away, why is more spending occurring? Why? On infrastructure. Why? Businesses, hedge funds, developers, all sorts of things, folks. All right, let's keep going. We're building our case here. We're building our case. And then we're going to get into some charts. And I'm going to get into the nuts and bolts of what I think is going on. Looks like I'm missing a couple charts, but I'll add them here in a second. All right. You guys have heard about this. I'm going to zoom in here. This is the daily GBTC premium to discount NAV. All right, so What is this? What does this actually mean? You hear about grayscale all the time. You might not understand. All right, whatever. So Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust issues common units of fractional shares, which represents owners in the trust. So what they do, this trust was created, they purchased actual Bitcoin. But then what do? They issue shares of their actual Bitcoin. They issue shares. The trust issues shares to accredited and authorized investors from time to time, with no set ongoing redemption program in exchange for Bitcoin. All right? So what this chart does, this chart plots the average weekly premium in the total value of Bitcoin Trust shares, GBTC, to the net asset value of the holdings. Right? So they're trading shares, and then this chart is going to track the difference between the total price of the shares, the net value, and what is actually locked up in the trust in terms of actual Bitcoin. They don't trade Bitcoin. So what's the idea here? All right, so we're going to go here. We're going to go to the past 12 months. December of 2022, we found a bottom of some sort, okay? So what's happening here is as there's more demand for Bitcoin shares, it more gets bought up, and then that premium shrinks. It shrinks to zero, and then eventually it'll go back above zero. And one thing that a lot of people say is, hey, listen, until it starts moving in a trajectory back towards zero, the bull market's not on, because nobody's going to go buy, why would they buy Bitcoin straight off the market when they can come here and get these shares at a 30% discount? All right. So this is bullish too. I would say, is this 40%? This is a 29%. So we pumped quite a bit here in 2023. Bitcoin has looked very strong in 2023. It's gone up like 80 or 100%. All right, so here's another one. All right, next, Bitcoin net unrealized profit and loss. All right, this is a little bit difficult to understand. On the left here, you're going to say it says euphoria, but then it says greed, and then it says belief, then denial in the yellow zone. Then it says optimism and anxiety. All right. Hope and fear, antonyms. Capitulation. All right. So what this is saying is if the market is moving upwards, then we can use the words on the left. Hope, optimism, belief, euphoria. And if we look right now in terms of where we are at, we have just crossed out of the hope and into the optimism. All right, this has to do with the amount of people that are actually in profit right now. Net realized profit or loss. So, and the white line has to do with the price. So more and more people are starting to get in profit. Now, what happens psychologically when you start making money? You guys know. You guys are gamblers. You go to casino. You go up, up, up. Everybody, whenever they go up 30% or they double their money on the roulette table, they always take it out, right? No, they don't always take it out. If they always took that out, then casinos would not be in business, ladies and gentlemen. So that emotion, that positive emotion, looking in your, in your wallet and checking it and seeing that you're in profit, that makes people feel good. So they start doing more irrational things. And that also has to do with, like I said, these institutional investors. They're going to get in. They feel like the market's going to get away from them. It's going to take off. And they want to be a part of that. Right? All right, let's check chat here. See if you guys have anything to talk about. You probably don't. Join the club. Best place to get in now. Yep. X-Force 1. Nice star there. David Lee. Nice star. Facing Reality. Nice star. Urban Productions. As flat as Vitalik's arms. Dude, that dude's weird. Buter eats his own boogers. Yeah, man. He's got to get those electrolytes. Facing Reality. Mo digging it. What's good? Rags. What is good? Facing Reality there. Crypto Pez. Almost forgot my 1 million stake Texan. Bonus Katie. What is up? BWG. I'm dress shopping with my girl right now. So I got nothing but time, Rags. Keep dropping alpha. Dixon Ciders. Rags, have you ever been to the Ho Chi Minh Trail? No, I haven't been there. Tin Top, what's up, Hexkins? Hex on time. Good evening. R2R, good evening. All right, here we go. Let's do some charts now, folks. This is the total crypto market cap. This is on the weekly. There is something that I pointed out, and this has been established for a very, very long time. There is a trend line that has been respected multiple times in the past. All right. And what we see here going all the way back in this example, 2015, and I'll show you an example going all the way back to like 2010, 2011. But right now we are straddling this trend line that has been established for the better part of about 8 years. So the total crypto market cap, the question becomes, how much higher do we go next cycle? I think in order to answer that properly, I'm going to go to the, let's go to the BLX. All right. I'm going to show you a couple things here. And this looks confusing. It's not really as confusing as you might think. These green lines are the halvenings. All right. One thing that I want to point out here. The halvenings occur every 240,000 blocks or so. Blocks that are processed. One thing that I want you to notice here. What happens directly after the halvenings? You have about 500, I'd say 400 to 500 days until you get to a market top. 400 to 500 days before you get to your market top. It happened in 2012. All right. It happened in 2016, 2017, 2018. And it also happened in 2020, 2021. So the question is, right now, our expected halvening is probably about April. What did I say here? When I was looking last, based on current demand, probably about the 3rd week of April. It might be a little bit sooner, it might be a little bit later. But what happens during this time in these cycles? What do you expect to start seeing? Well, we are certainly past halfway if it does anything like it's done in the past. All right, certainly past halfway. So when it gets past halfway, what we start to see, we see some gradual movement to the halvening. We saw gradual movement to the halvening in an upwards direction back in 2016. All right. We saw a gradual movement in the halvening. Now I'm going to throw out this COVID dip because that was an absolute black swan and anomaly. If you took that out, what you would see towards the back half of the cycle, in that cycle, was just a gradual shift upwards until you hit the halvening. So the question here becomes, are we going to see a gradual shift upwards? I think we will. I think we're going to see a gradual shift upwards all the way till April of 2024. And I do think we could, potentially you could see Bitcoin falling and respecting this trend line. Maybe we fall another, guys, if Bitcoin falls off 30%, that's exactly where we should be. If it respects this trend line that has been established since the beginning, it's crazy to see how well it's done. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch, 5 touch, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times. Try to come down and even get back to that trend line. 13, 14 times. COVID dip. That COVID sell-off touched that trend line perfectly. We're like 20 times over the course of like 11 or 12 years that this trend line has been respected. And because there is so much more money out there to be brought into crypto, I don't expect this to change course, folks. I mean, like I said, what are you guys going to say? Like all these people who are naysaying crypto. I've been saying it for years and years and years to friends and family. Guys, you got to get some exposure to this asset class. Worldwide spending on blockchain solution. 19 billion, almost $20 billion projected. It's like a 3x. Almost a 3x, folks, from the years previous. That's a crazy statistic to me. Absolutely crazy. All right. What might you think this pink line represents? What do you think that pink line represents, folks? That's that 500-day period. That's that 500-day period when we could potentially see a market top. When is that? August of 2025. August of 2025. Could we see some sort of upward movement all the way to that point? I would say yes. Let me see if I can let me do some stuff on the fly here. All right. I'm just making you guys feel good. We're just BSing. We don't really know what's going to happen, but it's fun to speculate, right? It's fun to speculate. Let's just take this fractal here. All right. And that's the bottom. So we'll apply it there. So this plays out actually pretty well. Minus, again, this this COVID dip that we had. So we're using the fractal for this last cycle. Do I think that Bitcoin could go to 140,000? I think that it's going to take a lot of economic energy to do that. Do I think it can do that? Yes, I do think it can. Well, how could you possibly say that? Well, there is the law of diminishing returns right now. We're going to take from top to top, okay? So let's go from the top in 2011, and we're going to go to the top all the way in 2013. That was a 32x of Bitcoin. We're not talking bottoms, folks. We're talking top to top. So we'll take the top from 13 and measure to the top of 17, 2017, 2018. So the first one was a 30. The second one's a 14x. 14x, okay? So we chopped in half, essentially. So now we're going to take 2016. We're going to go to, we'll go to this last top, all right? So that last top, that represented about a 3x, about a 3x. Now, if we take the top from there and we just cut that in half, do we do 80%? Do we do 100%? Do we do 50%? Even a 50% increase gets us to $100,000 Bitcoin. A 50% increase. We're not talking about 30. You're not talking about 15. We're not talking about 8. We're not talking about 3x. We're talking about 0.5x. 50% here, folks. Is that reasonable to assume? And that fractal stops it right there, right near that 3x. That puts us at $100,000 Bitcoin. Do I think that's possible? I think it's possible. Now, if that's possible, what does that mean for the crypto markets in general? Again, take a look at this. This is the total crypto market cap. Last cycle to now, we did like a 2x. If we do this again, if we follow this trend line, at the very minimum in 2025, we'd be like a 3.5 to 4 trillion market cap, which puts us back where we were before. The question that you have to ask yourself, guys, PulseChain is not just any crypto project. You understand that, right? Horizontal scaling really is a thing, and people will need other opportunities and options, and they might come here to build because they don't have to get involved in all the politics. If the total crypto market cap from where it is right now, 4x's, what percentage of total market cap do you think that PulseChain will have? Do you think a PulseChain will have 1% of that? Do you think PulseChain will have 10% of that? You think PulseChain will be a $100 billion asset? A $400 billion asset? I think that's pretty reasonable to assume. And that's a massive, massive amount of X's from where we are right now. Things are looking good, guys. Another thing I want to point out. Gold. Gold had a massive run up. If we see gold correct down here and then pop back up and break all-time high, which for gold was about 2080, that's going to make me feel really, really solid about the direction of the crypto asset class, right? And it's because as you can see, and I can take a chart all the way back as well, from 2016 all the way to now, primarily due to inflation, gold has pumped like crazy, man. And you go back further. All right, it corrected. It's essentially, well, 2023 to 2016, it's much higher than it was. If you go back, it did correct. But right now, we are in a period where companies in the world is absolutely addicted to inflation. And a lot of that inflation will go to gold. We will see that. So that's something to look out for as well. All right, here is something that you need to look for too. This is blockchaincenter.net. Blockchaincenter.net has this cool little tool that talks about alt season. And right now it's Bitcoin season. That's what they're saying. Right now it's Bitcoin season, all right? And that's probably primarily due to Bitcoin dominance. Now I want to show you the Ethereum dominance chart here in just a second. But let me ask you something. If the rest of crypto considers PulseChain an altcoin, which they do, for a long time they considered Ethereum an altcoin, and I guess they still consider it an altcoin. Some folks, Bitcoin maxis. If this is the case, and Bitcoin's already run 88% this year, and you want to maybe diversify a little bit, are you going to put money into an altcoin right now, or are you going to put more money into Bitcoin? My bet right now is if you feel comfortable with your Bitcoin holdings, maybe you want to put money into your altcoins because it's so undervalued right now. There's going to come a time, guys. There's going to come a time when there's no more opportunity left to get in at the bottom, and it takes off. It takes absolutely off, and that's when everybody apes in because they chase green candles. They don't chase red candles. And that's blatantly obvious at this point. Top 50 performance over the last 90 days. So Bitcoin over the last 90 days has performed 10.4%. Litecoin, Tron, BSV, Maker, I don't know what, Render, and then Bitcoin Cash. I find this very interesting. Why do you think Litecoin, why do you think BCH have performed so well? Litecoin, BCH, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. It's because if you read the documents, and we read the documents last week, those are going to be the first trading opportunities that people are going to have with EDX, which is essentially the exchange that's going to process all of the transactions for these big boys, these big institutions. And those are going to be like the first 4 that they're going to use. That's why they're pumping right now. Everything else is underwater. Aave, Solana, Uni, ICP, Link, Atom. We keep going. ADA, AVAX, Doge. It's not altcoin season right now, folks. But I think we could be tipping the scales back towards altcoins and back towards just a bull run in general. All right. Let's go to let me find this real quick here. ETH dominance. Guys, this looks beautiful. This looks absolutely beautiful. And this is on the weekly. Let's go to the 2-week to kind of consolidate this a little bit better. And I'll show you guys here. When you have this many tests, right? When you have this many tests, you have this wedge that's being created, folks. Eventually, this is going to pop. This is going to pop. This is Ethereum dominance. Once Ethereum dominance pops, it's on. And that could be any day now. Could we fall out more and create another channel? Sure, we could. But I'm just here to tell you that things are looking up. I think that we're definitely past halfway. We've passed that transition point. And we're moving towards the time in the markets where people start waking up and people start coming back. All right? A lot of what you're going to see is this. And I've been through this entire bear market. I've earned the right to say this. You're going to see a lot of people that show back up. All right? You're going to see a lot of people that say Hex forever. You're going to see a lot of people say that Richard Hart was right. You're going to see a lot of people come back and somehow they have complete amnesia about how they acted before. That's when you can start to tell that the bull market's coming back. People are getting more excited. All right, they hang out when things are good. They bounce out when things are bad, and they did really, really bad things. My message to you though is, don't hold it against them. Bear markets suck. Not everybody's built the same to be able to handle the craziness. I know most of you in here are built to handle the craziness because you're real hardworking people, salt of the earth people, like Crypto Heartbeat likes to say. And really, quite frankly, as long as you didn't overextend yourself, I mean, this is nothing compared to what you guys have to deal with. So this is good. All right, I want to go to Bitcoin dominance as well. Do I have that pulled up here? Yeah. Here's the Bitcoin market cap dominance. Ethereum dominance looks like it's going to pop to the upside in a big way. All right. This is Bitcoin dominance. Right now, Bitcoin is going to start feeling some pressure. Actually, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. Let's see if Bitcoin can punch through here. If Bitcoin cannot punch through here, then we have these levels, about 53%, 51 to 53%, where Bitcoin could get rejected. All right, this is pumping. This is an unknown territory right now with decreasing volume. I'm curious if this being a little bit overextended and the fact that Ethereum looks like it's on a verge to punch through, I wonder if we're going to see a little mini alt season open up here this summer going into Q4. I wonder. I don't know for sure. Guys, I'll tell you this though. That is not going to be the big deal. Even if you pump, even if we see like a 10x pump on PulseChain or PulseX or your favorite altcoin, whatever that may be on Ethereum or Matic or wherever, Polygon, that's not going to be the real thing. The real thing, the real fireworks happen in 24 and 25. Just make sure you know that, okay? Make sure you know that. Don't nuke your account and just realize that's when the real fireworks happen. And we're at the very beginning of that, in my opinion. Okay, let's talk about this. This is important, all right? And this is kind of talking about PulseX. My whole thing the entire time was like, listen, guys, if you guys saw these decentralized exchanges that launched at the tail end of the 2020-2021 bull market, if you saw how hard they ran with inferior tokenomics, it's absolutely crazy. All right. You had Sushi Swap, and you had Uniswap, and you had Pancake Swap. Then you had all these other DEXs that popped up in DeFi summer. And then within 3 to 6 months, they're doing 300 to 500 X's, and then the market died. Okay. Imagine if we didn't have that inflation bubble pop and the market could go for another 6 months to the upside. How high would have those DEXs gone? Now then take that idea and realize that by the time the market really, really takes off, 24 and 25, maybe we have less than 10 DEXs, right? There's 450 active DEXs on Ethereum. We have less than 10 on PulseChain. There might be only 5. PulseX is probably going to be the most liquid, I would imagine. What do you think is going to happen, folks? What do you think is going to happen, especially with the buy and burn? The buy and burn's overrated. Buy and burn in a bull market, the buy and burn is going to add absolute nightmarish bullish pressure to the liquidity pools. Okay, it's going to do really, really good things to deplete those to create positive buy pressure. I'm never worried about PulseX running out of supply. That's not what it's about. But when I'm looking at the liquidity pools, I think that's going to be a really, really strong thing. And I look at the performance of all these other DEXs that PulseX has been kind of derived from in a bull market. The performance was insane, out of control. The other thing that you guys need to think about is the liquidity is going to be the lowest it will ever be in this next bull run compared to future bull runs. Now, why do I say that? Because the lower the liquidity is, the easier price can move. It's not going to be as dense. It's not going to be as massive. So you're going to be able to move up quicker as well. There's a lot of really, really cool things that are happening. A lot of the big guys have sold off. They continue to sell off right now. And if you play your cards right, you can be those minnows that turn into the big boys just because you stuck to a plan. You're so far ahead of everybody else just because you stick to your plan. You don't listen to the craziness online. I'm going to introduce you to QuickSwap. If you guys aren't familiar, there's a chain that launched before the 2021 run. Use Polygon, Matic, whatever you want to call. And QuickSwap was one of the DEXs, one of the first DEXs that launched on this very, very illiquid chain. Small. Now, why did I find this? I went through a bunch of chains. I was trying to find good examples of a DEX that may not have a lot of competition on an L1 that had just launched, that didn't have a massive amount of projects or liquidity. All right, so let's take a look here. All right, this is QuickSwap. This is one of the oldest liquidity pools that were set up. It's like 2 or 3 years, 3 years old. And I'm going to kind of show you what this looks like. QuickSwap actually sold off 98%. Now, if you don't count that wick and you're just looking at the candle, it sold off about 96%. 96% here. 2021 hits, and it absolutely took off like a madman. In fact, this is on the daily. It took off to the tune of 703%. I'm sorry, 703x, 70,325%. 703x. When did it do that? From January to March. From January to March. And then what happened, guys? It held its price. It's actually held its own very well. From that top, it's only corrected back down. Well, actually, that's a huge correction. I'm sorry. That's what happens when you have this on log. But I'll say this. From that bottom price to where it is now, you're still looking at an 84x. Tremendous. Okay, now this didn't have the buy and burn. It didn't have the community. It had the sell-off. I don't know if PulseX is going to sell off as much. But when that bull market hits, folks, and people are using that DEX, and they've got those pairs, you've got PLSX pairs tied up with all of these tokens that are pumping, everything is being pulled up like crazy. Like crazy. So don't sleep on it, man. Just don't sleep on it. I'm telling you. Don't sleep on it. Let's check chat here. Why August, not May? Remember, sell in May and walk away. Rag, since most swans are already white, would a black swan be considered reverse albinism? Sure. That's logical. I think so. X Farmer says, I may get quiet when it sucks. However, time to buy and hold at a discount. And that's okay to get quiet. That's okay. I'm talking. So I was referring more to the folks who just FUD, and then disappear. And then they show back up like, hey guys, everything's good. It's like getting drunk at the family. It's like getting drunk at the wedding, and then the day after at brunch, you show up, you're like, hey, and then everybody's looking at you like crazy, like you did something. And you're like, uh-oh, what'd I do? That's what I'm talking about. Facing reality, 1% all way. Wheel crypto in the house. Guys, here's the whole point of this entire stream. If you have a plan, if you had a plan the entire time, then you are sitting very pretty right now. And you can continue to execute that plan. You can continue to be okay. Things are going to move forward. Everything pumps. Like, I don't know. I could choose anything. I could choose anything in a bull run. And especially something that's as special as PulseChain that has the community that we have. Right. And there's so much vested interest in making sure this thing succeeds. There's so many people that are adding really, really cool products. And you're going to see more and more folks open up to the idea of PulseChain. You're going to start seeing it. That's going to be another sign. So not only the people who show back up after they just talk trash forever, and then they just randomly show back up to the brunch, right? Once you see those people, that's a good sign for you. And then the other sign is you're going to see these developers and these influencers start warming up the PulseChain because the green candles do that. That's what green candles do. Yep, great analogy, Rags. Hex Farmer. The plan is literally to hold, and it's hilarious. People can't do that. DCA boy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all over the world, I am going to go to this. If you haven't seen it, I've talked about it 3 or 4 times. Here is dollarriot.com. You can check out dollarriot.com. You can sub. It's got all sorts of good stuff. We're going to be doing giveaways, referral programs. You get free stuff for nothing. It's a free, completely free newsletter, and we're going to take over. All right, that's the bottom line. So, facing reality, do not like, comment, or subscribe. Bingo, bingo, bingo. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all over the world, a quick reminder here.
Rags to riches. Do not like, comment, or subscribe.
Time for me to eat some chicken wings.